everyone, and welcome to today's Drama Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Let's get right into it. So it's the morning after Friday, so we're starting a new day. At Crimson, Nina is struggling a little, juggling everything since she got rid of Maxie, and Valentine comes in and hangs up her phone like that she's talking and like doing in work, so rude. And apparently she didn't come home last night. Charlotte was upset. Anita doesn't love that Valentine's keeping secrets from her. And he defends himself about this whole Anna thing, saying, well, she passed out, so would it be fair to prosecute her? I don't know. And she thinks he still has some kind of feelings for her, and he wants them to be united front against the custody hearing. He is like super just really talking about the custody hearing. So Nina can now see how they're different, and that his spy training has taught him to hide what he doesn't want people to know, and she wears her heart on her sleeve, so she might not go to court because she'd do more harm than good because she's angry and she wouldn't be able to hide that. And she thinks, then after he leaves, she thinks about the good times, like, you know, the first 5 minutes, and then about the Anna times, so they're not so good times. And then, you know, calls the house and asks Miss Evans to put Charlotte on the phone, and she talks with her, and they sing together, and like, oh, just so great, so wonderful, right? At the parking garage, Franco drops Liz off, and then they talk about Olivia Jerome. He brings up Jake, and Jake being upset about Sam and what he said about the curse. Liz seems kind of in denial about it, like she just wants Jake to be normal and happy, and because he deserves that. So she's like, well, he hasn't seemed different to me, so, you know, I'm sure everything's fine. And apparently Franco got a job as the parking garage attendant, and Liz forgot her cell phone, so she heads back down to the parking garage, and as they're kissing, because they do, they're leaning against this car, which, like, rude, and Julian moves in the trunk of the car, where he's been left all night, and it scares them, needless to say, and they call the police and pop the trunk, and it's Julian! What a surprise! At General Hospital, Anna is checking herself out, like, of the hospital, with her weapon, and Dante tries to talk her out of it, and, like, brings up Morgan. Oh, she brings up Morgan. Dante thinks LIV, is out to get Anna, and Anna's counting on that, and Anna also leaves a message for Robin that she's ready to be discharged, so, you know, come pick her up, and they'll talk about LIV. And Anna wants to use herself as bait to lure Liv out of hiding, and then Griffin walks in and is like, what? So Griffin Orphan won't sign off on her discharge, and Dante's heading off to the custody hearing. Anna tells Griffin the elevator rigging story, and Liz comes in, and she's here about Julian Jerome. So Julian's in a bed, Griffin is in there with him, and Anna comes in. They hypothesize about Liv, and Anna says it's good Liv doesn't know who Griffin is, because he'd be her first stop, and I'm like, oh, if only you knew. At the Metro Court, Diane, oh, my voice keeps catching in my throat. Diane is sitting next to someone, and she mentions Lambview, Pennsylvania, and I'm like, I see where this is going. And the woman she's talking with is Nora Buchanan, but she doesn't realize that. So, mystery woman knows Diane and her work as a novelist and attorney. So Diane is giving her, like, this whole strategy that she's going to do for the custody hearing, unaware that she is like, she knows the name of the attorney she's up against, but she doesn't know the face. And Diane is so much smarter than this. So Laura and Lulu come in, and Diane wants to introduce them, and then Dante makes his way in, and as she's about to introduce them, Valentine comes in and kind of does it, and Diane is like, what? So after Nora repeats Diane's strategy to her and walks away, Diane tells Lulu that they, Lante, have a better lawyer. And I'm like, did she play her? But, like, maybe not. Anything she said won't hurt them, but it probably wasn't the best thing to do. Lulu gets word from Maxie that Nina and Valentine are on the rocks and that they can use that. And Laura asks to be excused for a second, and Dante is skeptical about their whole, like, trying to get in the middle of this plan. Valentine meets with Nora privately, and he tells her that Nina may not be joining them at all at the custody hearing. there's a hostage situation going on, and I'll reveal their location a little later. So Liv has Robin chained up in some kind of basement, and she has a hammer, and she says that she's there because her one true love, Duke, was murdered. That's what brought her back to Port Charles, and Liv was in a dangerous place and couldn't leave when she heard Duke was in Port Charles, but then Julian took him from her, and they're in the basement of General Hospital. And Liv's plan is to bring Duke back, and I'm like, well, I'm not on board with that, because I'd love for that to happen. And, you know, she's seen miracles, and she's expanded her consciousness, and Robin is skeptical, but literally you brought Jason back, so... but that's when I forgot that they did the whole cremation thing and everything. So... what Liv needs is beneath General Hospital, and she finds a store and opens it, and it's like, this is it. It's a lab. The lab where Helena Cassadine brought Stavros back to life. So Liv walks in with Robin in her chains, and Robin's familiar with these machines, but they're damaged. But Robin explains to Liv that Stavros was in, like, a stasis. He wasn't, like, dead, and especially not, like, Duke dead. And the machines won't work on Duke. Like, he's gone. And cremated, and I don't care. Make it happen. You're a TV show. And Liv, like, takes this necklace out, and it's like a capsule thing with a lock of Duke's hair. And I'm like, that's weird. And Robin's like, yeah, that's not going to be enough to bring him back. So Robin tries to empathize with her using stone. And that Duke would want her to be happy, and she can move on too. And Liv is, I think, about to maybe unlock Robin's chains when she drops the vial thing with Duke's hair in it and freaks out. So she has a little freak out, and Robin tries to calm her by saying Duke left a piece of himself in all of them, and that sparks an idea for Liv. And now end scene. So Nora tells Valentine to lock Nina down, and she sees this as a huge problem. Good. A maternal figure needs to be present, especially considering who they're up against. He's going to either wind up sharing or losing custody, which I love this whole thing where, like, Lulu wouldn't compromise, because Lulu came to him with a compromise and then he turned it down. And Dante thinks they could accidentally push Nina into Valentine's arms if they don't, like, that they should just stay out of it. Laura goes to see Nina at Crimson, and she has a proposition for her, and I'm like, well, maybe she should have stayed for the rest of the conversation. Griffin has to do rounds, and Anna asks Griffin to send Robin up when he sees her. Julian wakes up. Anna's like, Olivia did this, didn't she? He goes in and out of consciousness, and she asks Olivia's plan, and Julian says that she's here and never left. Griffin drops all of his files in the elevator, so clumsy, and Liv gets in with him. So Griffin recognizes her from the parking garage, and she recognizes him too, because he looks just like the man that she loved, his father, Duke Thievery. And he, like, the terror on his face, the terror. And I'm like, this is lovely. Like, this is absolutely lovely. Whew. Alright, so that is it for today's General Hospital recap. I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!